Well, welcome back to Your Travel with Olivia. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. My name's Olivia, and today we're going to talk about 10 facts of why you need travel insurance. With everything that has gone on in the last couple of years, I cannot even imagine anybody even contemplating traveling without having travel insurance protection. And yet still the polls show that there's only been a slight increase in the amount of people who will take out coverage, from 52% of the population prior to the pandemic to only up to 56% of the people who will take it out now, which I am shocked at. But I feel like there's a little bit of a caveat here, and that is that poll was done back in 2021 where travel was still uncertain. People were still thinking, I am never traveling again. I suspect in the next couple of months that will change. But today I want to give you the 10 facts and reasons why it's so important that you make sure that you travel with peace of mind. Of course, the very first one is that travel, once we do get back into it, it is a little bit more complex, a little bit riskier than it was before. And so you want to make sure that wherever you're traveling to, research it, make sure that you have all of the necessary documents, the requirements, and of course, the travel insurance plan that is going to cover you for everything that you need. That means COVID-related illnesses, quarantine, etc. Now, there is another very important reason why you want to make sure that you have travel insurance, and that is because they can refuse to treat you. Yes, there are some countries and places out there that will refuse to treat you unless they're guaranteed to be paid. So that means that if you end up with an accident or an illness, potentially I guess you could be left on the roadside if they are not guaranteed that they're going to be paid. Once you have an insurance policy, that gives them an indication that they will be recouped for any of their medical expenses. Now, if for any reason that you cannot or do not pay that medical bill in full before you leave the country, you may find that when you go to leave that you can't. And that's because until they are paid in full, you are not leaving the country. I know this from a personal experience, not me personally, but a story that I was told by one of my patients when I was in nursing and was telling me that they were away on vacation, they needed medical help, they were in hospital, and when they woke up, they found that they were handcuffed to the bed railing and they weren't going to release them until that they were paid in full. Scary. Can't even imagine. One of the most important reasons that we are all too familiar with, and that is high medical bills. Now, we don't know what that bill is going to end up being, but it's usually in the thousands, in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's nothing compared to whatever the premium is that you would have paid for that policy. So thinking and contemplating if anything was to happen to you, how much that medical bill could be, and it would be covered, is peace of mind and is all that you need to know to make sure that you have that coverage. If for any reason that you cannot or you do not pay your medical bill, this will eventually make its way into a collection agency. And the first thing that people think about is, well, they can't touch me because it's not my country, so therefore I'm free and clear. So here's a little insight into that industry. That collection agency in that country that you were visiting can sell the debt to a collection agency in your country of origin, and they now, in turn, will come after you. Once they do, if they're not being paid, they can now find other ways to recoup that medical bill. They can put a lien on your property. They can garnish your wages. They can reduce your credit score, making it more expensive for you to borrow, or making it impossible for you to get a loan, period. So with all of that taken into consideration, there's other reasons why you want to make sure that you have protection. Another fact that you need to take into consideration is that you could be denied entry back into that country until that debt is paid in full. So yes, your passport, your identification will be flagged at all of the borders. So that's another thought and consideration. And the very last reason and fact of why you definitely want to make sure that you have travel insurance is imagine what it is going to do to your whole financial picture. It will impact it in such a negative way. This is money that you have saved up. You've got your home, you've got your assets, you've got your kids' education, everything is going to be affected if you don't or unable to pay that medical bill. Even if you are able to pay it, it is definitely going to put a dent in your whole financial goals and your dreams. It's just not worth it. I wouldn't take the risk. I wouldn't take the chance. And so I wanted to point that out to you today, that there are so many reasons why you need travel insurance. A couple of other things that I really wanted to point out to you here, and that is the difference between trip cancellation and trip interruption, making sure that you have the correct coverage. That's trip cancellation is before you leave on the trip for any reason that you have to cancel that trip. And trip interruption is after you have left on the trip. If there's any reason that your trip is interrupted and you need to return home before the end of your trip, that's where trip interruption comes in. I've given you guys a lot of information today for you to take into consideration when you are traveling. I know that every one of you do take out travel insurance when you are traveling, so I really want you to pass this on to your friends, your family, your peers, because maybe some of them will get a lot of value and insight into their travel plans going forward. Thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. If this was your first time visiting me, thank you so much for showing up, and consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button that's down below. Have yourself a wonderful week and stay safe. Take care. Bye.